Good morning, students, and welcome all of you. We have completed a computational botany paper number 6 until 7 chapter. From today, we are going to start the next chapter, that are the test of significance. What is the test of significance? Most hypothesis and the most of the experiment, they will see a significant and not a significant means that is our positive result. For example, we are doing any experiment, for example taking a TS of any plant material. If our TS it is a very good thing in the microscope, then we are seeing the our experiment is a significant. Same way, and not significant, that means our experiment is failed, it is not a significant experiment. In this chapter we have see introduction of a test of a significance, then statistics and the standard error, then meaning of statistical hypothesis, level of significance, null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis, then student t-test, chi-square test, and the goodness of a fit. These are the point we are going to cover in this chapter. Before the seeing that point, one thing kept in mind: significance means our experiment is correct, that is a significant. Not significant, that means our experiment it is wrong. Firstly, what are introductory part of this chapter? All scientists work look to answer of the following question. Any scientist, any teachers, any worker look upon their answer. How probable difference between the observed and the expected value by the chance only. Is the difference is the statistically significant? That is not significant. Scientist or the statistical worker having a finding the answer. What are the answer? The probable difference between the expected value and the observed value. If the difference between the expected value and observed value not much difference, that are our experiment it is a significant. If the difference between the expected value and the observed value it is a more, then we can say that our experiment is not significant. Let's say historical. What is the historical aspect? The term statistical significance was coined by Ronald Fishers in 1890 to 1962. That are the scientists who given the significance, statistical significance. That means that observed value, expected value, and our experiment is significant and the not significant. Then another scientist give the significant test, that are the student t-test, William Shelley Gossett. That are the one of the scientists that given that test. That are the some worker or some historical aspect of a test of a significance. Important terminology. Before the seeing the test of significance, we should know population and the sample. We should know about the population and the sample. What is population? Population is an infinite collection of element of individual elements of observation, that is known as a population. Population it is nothing but the infinite collection of element, collection of element or collection of individual, collection of atoms, or the collection of observation. It is considered as a population. And sample, it is a part of population, but the basic problem of sample is the generalization. Sample it is nothing but the part of population, but part of population. Basic problem of sample is the generalization. How we can generalize? Sample is anything which can represent the population. It is also considered as where population are collected. From the population, the some part of individual are selected, and that represent whole population. that are the sample. Next concept, that parameter and the statistics. From the first lecture I have explained some concept in statistics. It is a more important. If you understand that concept, that terminology, then you understand the another problem based on that concept. Here is a parameter. What is parameter? Parameter, it is a constant to describing the population. Parameter is anything, any unit that describe the population. For example, parameter of a weight. In a weight we have calculate only the weight of a population. Parameter of a height. Parameter, it is nothing the unit or the, we can see the character. Parameter, it is nothing but the describing quantity of a population, that is known as a parameter. And statistics, from the first lecture we have doing it. What is statistics? Statistic is a quantity describing the sample, that are the function of observation. That means I have explained first lecture. Statistics, it is nothing but the function of observation. That observation are given, and with from that observation done some calculation, that is subtracting, addition, and some not for another purposes. That means sample taking, calculating the mean, calculating standard deviation. That are the functioning of observation. That is known as a statistics. In a statistics, most of the calculation based on the sample observation, such as any sample survey. In statistics, most of observation is based on the statistical survey. With the help of that, certain assumption about the population parameters, such as assumption, statistically, hypothesis. Simple sentence are given. With the help of a survey, we make a certain assumption. Population parameter, such as a assumption known the statistically hypothesis. Hypothesis, for example, we have make a one survey of our village and determine the hypothesis of that population. What are the hypotheses? Hypothesis means hypothetical, that are not actual answer, but we have made a hypothetic. What are hypothetic? In year 2010 to 12, population is increases only in a birth rate of a male parameter, okay, and the 2013 to 14, the birth rate increases is the female parameter. It is how hypothesis is determined. Between the 4 years, between the 4 years of era, the population increases male as the female at a 1:1. That means our hypothesis, it is a 1:1 population of a birth rate male as to female will be increases. That are the hypothesis. Hypothesis means is a design engage or the arrange on the basis of a observation. That is known as a hypothesis. Is that clear? The procedure which decide certain hypothesis true or false is called as a test of a hypothesis or the test of a significance. Same way, the procedure decide our hypothesis true or false, that is known as a test of hypothesis, and it is also known as a test of a significance. To determine the difference between the hypothesized value and the actual value. To determine hypothesized value and the actual value. If the difference between them greater than the hypothesized value, that are the hypothesis are the correct means and the test of significant. Simple concept are given. If the difference between the hypothesized value, hypothesis means observed value, and the actual value means expected value. Difference is a hypothesized, it is a, that means hypothesized and the actual value having a related, that means a test of significance. The difference between the hypothesized value and the actual value, that means observed value and the expected value, observed value and the expected value, it is a similar. that means test the significant. It is not the more much similar, that are the significant, not significant hypothesis. That are the concept are given here. Next is statistics and its standard error. From the first chapter we have seen the statistics. What is statistics? Statistics, it is nothing collection, arrangement, analysis of data and interpretation of data. That are the statistics. And what is meant by standard error? The statistical constant are computed from a sample corresponding mean, variance, correlation, coefficient. Such refer as a statistics. That are the statistics related concept. Then what is meant by standard error? Let's see. Standard error means what? SE. Standard error is the deviation of sampling distribution from the statistical mean. Deviation of a sampling distribution from the statistical mean. That means we have a calculated mean. Deviation, that means away from that mean we get a statistical error. It is refer to estimate of a standard deviation derived from the particular sample to compute the estimate. That are the simple definition are given. Standard error, it is nothing but the deviation from the central mean. Deviation means from the away from the mean. It may be refer as a standard deviation, mean deviation, that we have seen in chapter number 5. That are the measures of dispersion. Central tendency having the opposite concept, measures of dispersion, and the measures of dispersion, one of dispersion are the standard deviation. That means standard deviation is refer as a standard error. Sampling distribution probability given a statistic based on a random sample. It provides major statistical interferences, which is important. Standard deviation is divided by the square of a sample size. Then we calculated the standard error. That are the concept. Most of the scientists or statistical given that concept. Standard error, it is nothing but the difference between the observed value and the actual value. But in terms of statistics, standard error, it is nothing but the standard error is nothing but the standard deviation divided by square root of a n. Need of a standard error. Why standard error are needed? Let's see. Use in a instrument testing given a hypothesis. Instrument testing. Need of instrument testing. It is a operating clear or not. For that purpose, standard error are important. It provide idea about the unreliability of a sample. SE help to determine the limit with which value are expected to the lie. Some given wrong information about the instrument, that are the true or lie. For that purpose, standard error are the important. Use a standard error play important role in a large sample survey. We are making the population of village, city. For that purpose, standard error are the used. The magnitude of standard error is a precision estimation parameter. Precise the estimated parameter is true or false. The reciprocal of SE taken as a measure of a reliability. Reciprocal of a standard error are taken as a reliability. That means what? Real things. SE used to determine probable limit of a expected parameter. That are the overall about the first lecture of a test of significance. In this lecture we have see the content of this chapter. Then what is test of significance, statistics and the standard error. Next part going to see coming soon. If any doubt, comment below the section. Thank you.